network of practitioners, of evaluation practitioners who are joining from across the globe and working mostly in evaluation in different areas from different sectors. So we have, and as you may have seen in the chat, as all of you joining today, so we have people joining from international organizations, NGOs, CSOs, the government, independent consultants, and all different sectors. So EVALSDGs is formed from this network of practitioners who are overall interested in knowing or trying to advance knowledge on evaluation about the SDGs and other cross-cutting topics that might be of interest for the SDGs. And as part of the EVALSDGs network, we have this subgroup that is called the guidance group. That's the subgroup we are working with and that we make part of. And the guidance group, the objective is to promote more knowledge and disseminate knowledge, products, and any other spaces that can be useful for exchanging information and knowledge about the evaluation of SDGs and cross-cutting topics of interest for them. And under this framework that our main product or our, let's say, flagship product from the guidance group are the EVALSDGs Insight, and they cover different topics. And our latest insight was authored by Laura Gagliardone, who will be today presenting the issue and presenting a bit of the topic. And it focused on some quick tips to assess risks of AI applications in the monitoring and evaluation sector. And today we will have, of course, afterwards, a panel discussion by Olivier Dietrich and Eda Canini. And we will be discussing how we have been using how we've been applying AI tools in our M&E work, and what advantages and what risks it possesses, and what can we do to overcome them. So thank you so much for joining again. And I hope that you will enjoy the webinar. And what we are expecting is to have also a space to exchange. So feel free to write in the chat at any time. So if you have any reflection or any questions you would like to ask, feel free to write down, and we will be sharing afterwards. So just for start, just a very few housekeeping rules. So we would like to ask you that while we have the presentation, if you could mute yourself so you can see the mic icon at the bottom of your screen. And of course, when the time that we have the space for exchange, you will be able to unmute yourself and share your ideas in the chat, or also share your ideas verbally. So, but in the meantime, we will just kindly ask you to mute yourself and then wait for the exchange space. So today we will have, as discussed, Laura will be presenting the topic. She will be presenting the insight that she has authored on this. And Laura is currently working as a program coordinator consultant in UN Women in New York. She has been working for over 16 years across different UN organizations, NGOs, and other sectors as a project management, coordination, and also a monitoring evaluation professional. And her focus, or her areas of work, focuses mostly on gender equality, real-time data and AI, child protection, counterterrorism, and prevention of violent extremism, peace and security, and sustainable development. So after we have Laura's presentation, we will have a rich discussion with the panelist member, Olivier Dietrich and Eda Canini. So Olivier is currently a PhD candidate in computer vision and remote sensing at ETH Zurich, and his work is focused on leveraging AI to address critical societal changes, and more specifically, developing advanced machine learning techniques to automatically assess building destruction in conflict zone. And he's developing his research in partnership with ICRC to enhance the effectiveness of humanitarian aid. And Eda Canini is a member of the EVALSDGs guidance groups, and she has experience in different sectors and multifaceted competence in health system, organizational development, monitoring and evaluation, and with a focus on gender as well. And we would like, of course, to thank Laura, the author, and also the panelists for today, for having their time and exchange their experiences with all of us. And thank you so much in advance for the time and space that you will have to share your experience and to facilitate this topic. And once we will have this, we will have, of course, space for all of us in this room to exchange more from our experience, to post questions, and to share any talks related to this topic. So thank you everyone once again. And I would like just, without further ado, just to hand over to Laura, who will be presenting the topic and the work that she did with this EVALSDGs Insight. Laura, over to you.
Thank you, Roxana, for the introduction and for having me. Hi, everyone, and welcome. So I'm happy to present the evaluation insight I've written on quick tips to assess the risk of AI applications in monitoring and evaluation. I'm not speaking on behalf of UN Women, but as an EVALSDGs member. So what is artificial intelligence? It may be defined as intelligence perceiving, synthesizing, and processing information demonstrated by machines as opposed to human intelligence. It adapts to meet users' needs by analyzing usage patterns across diverse data sources or general guidelines within a vast information landscape. It undertakes tasks requiring human intelligence, including visual perception, speech recognition, and language translation, and is not a new phenomenon, having been utilized by organizations for over 30 years. However, recently, multilateral organizations, governments, academia, private sector, but also security and law enforcement agencies have taken an interest in incorporating AI into operations, including into the evaluation discipline. Despite the operational benefits, though, the AI applications pose several risks. So what is the issue I would like to talk today? So AI has leveraged big data and data sets to inform decision-making through trend and pattern analysis, and has supported crisis identification and disaster preparedness. So for those of you who are familiar with the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda, I'm referring to the Sustainable Development Goals 11 and 13. It has also revolutionized diagnostics and treatment in the health sector and been instrumental in real-time monitoring and reporting in agriculture and education. The utilization of AI monitoring and evaluation, though, poses several risks, including bias and fairness. In fact, AI can inherit biases from the data they are trained on, leading to unfair outcomes. Data misinterpretation. AI may misinterpret data or produce misleading results if the input data are flawed or the algorithm is not properly designed. Privacy concerns. AI may process sensitive personal data, raising concerns about privacy violations and unauthorized access. Security vulnerabilities. AI could be vulnerable to hacking, leading to data breaches or manipulation of evaluation results. Ethical dilemmas. AI may raise ethical dilemmas such as the use of surveillance technologies or the potential for discrimination in decision-making processes, reliability and robustness, and over-reliance on technology. So AI could lead to a diminished role for human judgment and oversight, potentially undermining the quality and credibility of evaluations. Some of the examples of AI applications related to the monitoring and evaluation of the SDGs implementation are the following. Web search engines like Google Search, generative or creative tools such as ChatGPT, Claude AI, and others, remote sensing, big data analytics, blockchain technology, computer vision, natural language processing for textual data analysis, and machine learning for large dataset analysis of SDGs indicators. Here, there are some examples of AI applications which are specifically targeted to development and law enforcement security experts, such as data management capabilities for processing and categorizing information and monitoring dataset access, predictive analytics to analyze emergencies and threats, aiding in risk management and the development of early warning systems, risk mitigation through AI algorithm identifying behavior patterns related to past incidents, and fraud detection using machine learning models focused on text mining, social media analysis, and database searches to reduce fraud threats and to streamline financial processes. So this is a slide that presents the model I have conceptualized to assess the risks of AI applications in monitoring and evaluation, but also in other operations. This is structured in 4 steps: the framework analysis, data collection, model development, and monitoring and evaluation. And so let's look at each step together. So in terms of the framework analysis, I think it's important to review existing legal frameworks and regulations related to AI in your country. It's also important to identify regulatory and reputational risks for your organization and conduct a risk assessment based on current frameworks, trends, values, and use it to determine what data you need to collect and how you want to analyze them and process information. Very important is to involve diverse stakeholders in the risk assessment process to make evidence-based decisions, such as AI developers, domain experts, policymakers, and end users. So the guiding question for this first step is what are the frameworks, rules, regulations, values, and future goals and objectives of your organization? The second step is the data collection process. So it's important to choose data sets which are suitable for AI model processing and which ones to discard. Plan where you can find reliable and quality data and check the data quality, integrity, and readiness. It's also important to pay attention to ethical considerations and address issues related to AI fairness, transparency, accountability, and responsibility, and consistently evaluate privacy and security to avoid data breaches or invasions of privacy. The guiding question is, are these the right data sets for a potential AI application? What are the ethical considerations to keep in mind? The third step is the model development. So it's important to consider whether the AI tools you are planning to utilize can concretely help monitor and evaluate the implementation of the SDGs or any other operation. Review and any regulatory limits on how AI can be used for certain processes. Assess how AI will help your organization advance the M&E of the SDGs implementation, and promote awareness about AI risks within the broader community. It's also important, of course, to consider costs and benefits for your organization and the sustainability of the utilization of AI to conduct evaluations. So the guiding question is this AI application suitable for your evaluation or any of your operations? So across these 3 steps, there is the monitoring and evaluation process. In fact, it's very important that the implementation of AI is monitored, evaluated, and adjusted. It's important to evaluate the potential impact and also use evaluation findings and recommendations to prepare a catalog of lessons learned and good practices on AI applications. So these might be important for any organization to build institutional memory. So the guiding question is the AI application effective, efficient, impactful, and coherent with the values, goals, and objectives of your organization? So I would like to share a few key takeaways. So AI has an impact. So enhances evaluations by analyzing data and informing decisions across various sectors, but also poses risks such as biases, privacy concerns, security vulnerabilities, and others. But we can do something to address those risks by adopting mitigation measures. So we can implement ethical protocols, monitor AI performance, and maintain a human oversight in monitoring and evaluation. So this is the good news. We as human beings are still in charge of M&E processes and operations. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. And if you have questions or insight, please contact me. I would like also to invite to review the evaluation insight, which is available on the EVALSDGs website. So with this, I look forward to the discussion, and I thank you all, and over to you, Roxana.
Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing this. I'm presenting your insight and the framework that you have conceptualized based on your experience on how to assess the risk of using AI in M&E. And you have previously shared some examples of tools that could be used during the M&E alone or throughout the evaluation process, and some tools that use AI. And I also, but of course, I could be interested to know a bit more. So I just would like to ask Eda, in this case, given her experience in M&E, on how is AI currently, like based on your experience and the different evaluations that you have been undertaken, how is AI being used in the field, and what would you consider are the most promising applications at the moment?
Thank you very much, Roxana, and thank you very much, Laura. This has been quite an interesting topic, and it's coming at a very good time. It's quite relevant, and especially at this time when we are moving towards intelligence. In monitoring and evaluation, it's one of the fields that cannot really divorce itself from the use of AI. That means all the thematic areas of the SDG, the 17 of them, have no choice but to adapt and to embrace the use of AI. For example, from my experience, AI has been used for data collection. There's no way we can continue collecting data the way we used to do it, using a lot of paperwork. If you're collecting 1,000 households, collecting data in 1,000 households, it becomes almost impossible to go in all the households, ticking papers, some of them getting lost, some of them exposing some private information. Hence the use of artificial intelligence in collecting of this data, maintaining quality, maintaining privacy, and being very effective. This also means in processing the data. Once data is collected, AI has really helped in processing the data in real time, giving real-time information, being analyzed in a real time. AI has also been used in M&E for predictive purposes. For example, we remember recently we had COVID-19, which we've just jumped out of it, and AI could not be ignored, because this is how it was used to detect or to predict areas, hotspots that could really communities that could be infected with COVID-19, hence the nature of predictive analysis. Also in the early warning system, where we have floods, where we have typhoons and other climate affected changes, it has really come in handy to be used to predict these calamities. In real-time monitoring, that is using the remote sensing. We've used that in agriculture, in health, in construction, and it has been used a lot it has helped a lot in curbing corruption. Previously, where you used to be given a map and you're told a road has already been tarmacked, this time using something like remote sensing or the GIS, you can easily look and see this has not happened. So it has been used one way or another to curb corruption. Data analysis, I've talked about it, but also let me add that it has really helped in bringing out the correct data. I can just give an example. Previously in health, and sorry for mentioning health because that has been my background. We used to get a lot of data that is not complete, or that data that is not really representing the correct information. You could go in a maternity ward and find that a person maybe has given birth, but in the data it's written it's a male. So you see that kind of that kind of inconsistencies, which also affect, of course, the policy. In gender, it's very important that I mention, because gender is one thing that I'm passionate about. The AI has really helped in bringing out the data disaggregation in terms of male and female, which has enhanced equity and also the quality of data, and also in identifying the data gender gaps in terms of data. And one important area is the curbing of gender-based violence. AI has really helped in tracking the gender-based violence hotspots. I'm talking in terms of my African context, where I come from, where gender-based really is it's quite high. So it has supported in putting the mitigation measures when it comes to gender-based. So let me stop there. I'll continue adding as we move on. Those are the areas that I've really seen AI being used, and they're also the promising area in terms of health, in terms of agriculture, in terms of climate. But generally, I would say AI cuts across all the 17 thematic areas. Thank you.
Thank you, Era, to working us through this on how you see any potential to the different areas of your expertise. And of course, I would like also to ask Olivier, in case you have any concrete example on how you have used, how you have been using AI in M&E or in monitoring evaluation of the SDGs, and if you see any challenge and any potential risk that can come with using for this specific task.
Yeah, thank you, Roxana, and hi everybody. Thank you for having me. So for me, this is quite new. I am not really on the M&E side, more on the research side. I'm super excited about this talk. Yes, I could give a few concrete examples of how AI is being used or can be used to monitor and evaluate SDG. So my field of expertise is remote sensing, so mostly using AI and satellite images to analyze and monitor things on Earth. So for instance, I can give the example of deforestation. So deforestation, I have a quick note here. SDG number 13, climate action, and number 15, life on land. So now with AI, we can use AI to monitor automatically satellite images. We have images of the Earth every few days for free at global scale. And if a human had to look at where the forest is being destroyed, it's obviously a very repetitive and tedious task. It's doable, but at large scale and on the repetitive manner, you will need a team of humans. It's way too time consuming. So we can now use AI to actually automatically detect spots where forest is being cut down, for instance. I think in general, all the tasks which are like tedious and repetitive can be led to an AI system. That's for the concrete example. Now, yes, about the challenges and potential risks that come with using AI for those. So for me, it's very important that the people who use AI understand the limitations of the application or the system they're using. And so, for instance, as a scientist, I could say that my model has a 85% accuracy rate on deforestation, which sounds great. You can publish a paper about it. Everybody's happy. But in practice, you need to understand that there is a 15% chance that the AI is wrong on this specific example. So you need to be able to really understand the uncertainties of the model. Yeah, that's the first point. Then I think we should also always keep a human in the loop. So we should not blindly trust what the AI system gives as output, but correlate this with verifications. For instance, underground report for deforestation. But I mean, there are a lot of examples, but this is very important. And I think to maximize the way AI can be used to monitor and evaluate SDG, I think we should really work together. So AI experts and also domain experts on different SDG. That's for me the most important.
Thank you so much, Olivia, for this. And maybe just also link it to something that Laura has mentioned before, is that, of course, AI, it's not recent. It's been developing for so many years. And but I think that at least in the M&E community, like one of the peaks was a few years ago with the advanced or rapid development of large language models, that people are starting to talk more about the topic in the M&E field, and I think a little bit in general. So I wanted to know, of course, as more a technical side person, what would be your opinion about the current trends on these large language models, and how could you see the potential of them in the area?
So about the LLMs, I think it's amazing how quickly they come and they've been adopted by everyone. I think OpenAI had ChatGPT had 100 million users after 2 months, which is like has never been seen before. And it's a great tool. It's really useful. Definitely, I use it every day. But I think we really need to know when and how to use it. You have to be, for instance, ChatGPT or any other LLMs. They are great at summarizing information, reformulating text, etc. But they are not so great at giving facts. Actually, there is no fact checker in ChatGPT, so it can what we call hallucinate some information, but the answer will still look very plausible and very correct because the shape, the structure of the language is always perfect. So this you need to be really, really aware of that. It's not because it says something that is necessarily true. That's very, very important. There are ways to improve it or to use it in a better way. Now there are new systems which are called RAG, where you can actually condition the answer of the LLM to a specific, for instance, set of documents. So I know a lot of companies are investing into this. So then you could query, for instance, an information within your organization, and the LLM should be able to retrieve this information and also give you the source so you can find it back. But this is great, but it's not the case for ChatGPT. So for ChatGPT and others, you should really be careful when you ask for facts. But for instance, it can be great to quickly summarize huge reports, reformulating sentence, etc. Another thing that's really important, Laura also mentioned it during her presentation, is that you need to be aware of any data privacy issue. With those free chats, there is no guarantee that actually all the data goes back to the servers in the US and are probably being used to retrain the models. So you should never share sensitive information with LLMs, at least not the ones that are public. And I think for me, data privacy concerns and hallucinations are, I would say, my two most important kind of concerns. But otherwise, I think since they exist and we have all witnessed how good they are at some tasks, we should not use them, but just use them wisely. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olivier, for this. And I'm just looking back at Eda in case she would like to share anything from her experience or anything related to this topic.
Yes. Thank you very much. And thank you to Olivier. He has put it very well. I just want to add that as much as AI is quite essential and really helpful, we still cannot leave that human aspect. AI is a machine and it's quite good, but also when it comes to inputting, let's remember that junk in, junk out. Hence the need to really maintain quality, as Laura was presenting. Also the need to adapt mixed methods evaluation or during monitoring. This cannot be underscored. Always doing this, despite the AI, there is need to have these multiple methods of collecting data, of analyzing, of comparing, and also bringing out the voices of the community, during evaluation and during monitoring. So this is something that cannot really be replaced, that humanistic touch. So that's what I wanted to add. Thank you, Roxana.
Thank you, Eda, so much. And yeah, at this moment, I see that we have a question already from the audience, and I would like to invite you all to either raise your hands or write your questions in the chat. But this question, it's directly related to the discussion we were just having. And we have someone asking on how can we manage or reduce this risk of error that Olivier just described being non-technical person. So as a non-technical person, so not having a technical background on AI, on ML models and so on, how can we reduce or manage or deal with this risk of error?
Maybe I can jump in.
Yeah,
I think ideally you should kind of try to work in tandem with people who have technical expertise as well. So at least you understand the risk. Maybe not minimizing, but at least you understand exactly what you're dealing with. That's the first thing. Every single AI system has a percentage, like as an accuracy or depending on your task correctness. So you need to be aware of it. I think without working, because for me it's really important to have technical expertise in the room. Otherwise, to minimize the risk itself, I think you should really work with or at least try to ask questions to somebody who knows better the technical aspects of it. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Olivier, for this. And yeah, I'm just also looking back at Laura, of course, because I know that you have a lot of experience in M&E, project management, and other areas, but perhaps we have from the M&E side a bit less of experience in this technical side. So how have you personally, or what would be your personal reflection as well for this question?
Thanks, Roxana. I think that here there are very important key takeaways. So especially, on the data collection, data disaggregation processes, the various applications in real-time monitoring, and also as Eda has shared, the concrete applications of AI during COVID-19, in addressing corruption or GBV, gender-based violence in Africa. One of the reflections I can think of is the importance of now having mixed teams on board, right? So I assume for any organization now is becoming more and more important to have experts in AI, but also monitoring evaluators, evaluation specialists, as well as program managers, right? So it's perhaps there is a shift from due to these new emerging technologies. So this is one of the reflections I can share. And it's also very important to have to maintain these human oversight. So and continue thinking of AI as tools, to improve the monitoring and evaluation of the implementation of the SDGs, but they cannot replace the human judgment. And we have constantly, we are called to monitor what their results are. So I personally utilize, for example, Chat GPT from time to time, but I realize myself that in some cases the results were not accurate. So if I just taken what the results were, they wouldn't be as accurate as I would like. There are also other applications, for example, natural processing systems. So I had the experience on working with some engineers at UNICEF on the creation of these advanced search tool that was producing answers with common use questions, right? So sometimes the general public is not aware of the technicalities of the technical questions. So they simply input simple questions, and the system was able to link the simple question to the indicators and retrieve the data. But also in that case, sometimes there were errors. So there is always, we have always to, in a certain way, babysit the AI and these new technologies, if I can say. Thank you, Roxana.
Just maybe I can add something I didn't say before. It's also, as Ada said, it's junk in, junk out. So I think, as for instance, if you collect data and there are some biases in the data, then the model will reflect those biases and will be influenced by those. So you want to minimize the bias in the data. That's going to be quite tricky. But for instance, I'm making up something, but if you collect all the data in a certain neighborhood, the AI system will think that this neighborhood, I mean, we have like AI systems which have been trained on pictures of human people, and because of the data set was mostly white people, then the AI system couldn't recognize as well people of color, for instance. So those kind of problematic instance, you really need to be sure that the data sets that was used to train the model has no bias or as little as possible. You muted.
Yeah, sorry.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. And just in addition to Laura and Olivia, I would just want to say that I think the AI came as a blessing in disguise, because since it started penetrating, now there has been a lot of calls for systems approach in everything. And it's the same case as our participant has asked, what can he or she do if there's no technical expertise? And that's why we are calling for systems adoption. You cannot work in silo at this time. There's need to now work with other people, work with other professionals as a system to be able to achieve whatever you are doing. If you look even of the calls that have been going on this year, for example, the EES, the AAEA, everything is about systems, hence all our interventions. So that's what I would add. Also in AI, it's the same. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eda, and everyone for your reflections. Just looking back at the time, of course, I would like to invite the audience if they would like to share a reflection. And I see that we just have one comment, and thank you so much, Harrison. If you would like to share more and unmute yourself and share your reflection, you're welcome to do, but otherwise I can also read out the chat.
No, thank you so much, colleagues. Yeah, I was just reflecting on the lack of. I understand that, like everyone has been making reference to, that these AI applications are built on some data, and when we look at some parts of the global south, like Africa, there's a lot of information which is not yet digitalized. So I was wondering, in terms of that absence of data, what is the future outlook on the adoption global south? So I'm just wondering your on your experiences and perceptions, will the region probably lag behind, and what could be the risks?
Thank you so much, Harrison. And yeah, as Dorothy mentioned, we have two very interesting questions. So first, what could be the outlook of AI in the global south? And yeah, and the other one on dynamics with the region like behind in the adoption and utilization of AI. And yeah, if anyone would like to share on this, please feel free to do.
Yeah. I think I'll jump in on this, on the AI in the global south versus also the availability of data. I would say Africa has the most, and also that has been adapted or used in other areas, yet the policies and the effects and the outcome of this data has not really been to the benefit of the global south and particularly the sub-Saharan Africa. So for me, I feel this is, I would still use the word maybe a blessing in disguise, that we have a lot. It's a resource. Data is power. Information is power. We have that power in terms of data, and hence the need to adapt now the AI in terms of analyzing this data and coming up with policies that really fit into the challenges or the needs of the global south. So for me, I think it's time that the global south wakes up and really aggressively adapts to this, to things that really benefits the development of the south itself. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eda. And if anyone would like adding anything else, and also, yeah, I also invite the audience, if anyone has any reflection on this question, we will be very interested to know about your takeaways and your experience on this, your reflections about these questions that were posed by Harrison. If not, we already have two more questions from Dorothy. So thank you so much for this. And the first one is, if the panelists would like to share anything, or what are your thoughts about self-entry mobile data, and how valid is it compared to consultation methods? So this one more related to M&E methodologies, evaluation methodologies. So how do you compare these two methodologies, consultation methods versus, let's say, self-entry mobile data? If you have any experience on this, and what are your thoughts about it? So looking at Eda and Laura, if you would like to share something about this.
Yeah, thanks, Roxana. Thanks for the question. I have some experience in working with UNICEF on frontier data and the frontier data technologies. So at that time, we were utilizing mobile data and also social media data from Facebook, from other social media assets. It's very, very complicated to make use of those data for several reasons, and also to, in a certain way, to educate the monitoring and evaluation specialists to use these new data sources. But they are definitely interesting in several contexts, especially in crisis settings, where, for example, you need to track internal displaced populations. So mobile data might be helpful to understand where groups of people, children, or vulnerable groups are moving towards. So this was applied in Ukraine, for instance, or like in the Middle East. But still, frontier data, including mobile data, are new sources. So they are not, there are several concerns regarding data quality and data integrity, and also in some cases, the data availability. There are also implications regarding privacy concerns, etc. So not everyone can share mobile data. So these are things to take into account, for both the monitor and evaluation specialists as well as the security and law enforcement specialists. Yeah, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Laura, for that. I'll just pick from where Laura has left off. Yes, mobile data is very important, and I would say in areas where I've used mobile data and which came in quite handy, it's where there's need to collect data, but maybe the community are pastoralists or they have a lot of migration from one area to another, or from one border to another country. So it would be very hard to either meet them the next time, or it would be very hard for me as an evaluator to carry a lot of paperwork, hence the need for mobile data. Mobile data also comes in very handy because there are some areas which are hard to reach areas where there's no electricity to keep charging laptop. Hence, you can use the mobile data even when you're offline until you go back and charge your tablet, and then analyze the data. So mobile data cannot really be put off in such cases. And as Laura put it, sometimes we don't want also the community to feel like their data will be used the wrong way. Hence, as evaluators, they need to explain clearly and thoroughly and patiently why this data is being collected the way it's being collected and how it will be used. Bringing back the topic of Laura of the ethical challenges and the ethical clarity when conducting evaluation or research. This data, how will it be used in terms of policy with the community? So it was quite a good question in terms of mobile data. Over to you, Roxana.
Thank you so much, Eda and Laura, and Dorothy, of course, proposing two interesting questions. And I just would like to read out the second one. That is, of course, in evaluation, we go throughout the evaluation process, and one of the important parts of it is communicating results. Because, of course, we want evaluation findings to be used. That's the most important, let's say, step to use and to make both the process and the findings of use for the population, for the stakeholders we're trying to reach. So the second question is related to how good, or in your opinion, how good is AI to help with improving communication for the use of evaluation findings to different audiences? And yeah, if you consider that if we do this enough, how is it dangerous given the concerns raised about accuracy? So how can it be useful for, let's say, advancing use of communicating evaluation results, and if you see any risk?
I don't know if I'm muted. Yeah, I could start off. Communication is quite crucial, and this has always been previously. That was the biggest challenge of many bodies, many entities, many organizations collecting a lot of data, collecting a lot of research, collecting a lot of evaluation, and then never going back to the community to communicate the results or to tell them the importance of what they did. Hence, communities getting that interview apathy, when you go back, people are like, we just saw another group here before you. What do you do with all these data? But this has really improved nowadays, maybe because also of communities being empowered to ask for the results. Therefore, it's a good thing. And AI is coming in at the right time, because the communication of results also need to be the way that the community will understand and also the policymakers will understand. And those are two different ways. In terms of language, AI comes in very handy because these results can languages. I can interpret the results in my indigenous language and be able to give the results to the Meru. At the same time, the results can be to Somaliland, to the Swahili, and the diverse results in diverse languages and to different. So it has really helped in that line. Method of capturing the results because
well, I think we just lost Ira, but in the meantime, we have also a question for Laura. So while we wait for her in the dig, she can, take over again.
Thank you. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ira. I think that we just lost you for some minutes. So if you would like to summarize your reflections, we would appreciate that.
Yes, sorry. I was just saying that it's quite essential to use the AI in terms of interpretation and also dissemination, especially when it comes to different communities. Communities embrace different ways of being communicated to, and some prefer visual, looking at visual results. Others prefer listening and hearing. Others they don't mind whichever way it will come. So it's good to use the AI for the different methods of communicating results. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that. And we have also another question from Laura, just to, of course, get from her experience in working currently at UN Women, but also before from other international organizations. And is that in the context of international organizations, AI experts are sometimes still scarce and difficult to attract in these specific sectors. So yeah, we wanted to know, of course, if do you have any experience working or recruiting, we're working with mixed teams or even recruiting personnel with more AI expertise? And if you could share us your experience if you have this, or if not, also if you have any challenges as well as other people from the audience.
Yeah, thanks, Roxana, and thanks for the question. I think that, for multilateral organizations, the main challenge is acquisition. So it's very difficult because of different interlinkages and also different interests and all these countries we work with. So it's very complicated to hire new staff or new support working on these new technologies, including AI. This requires an organizational change, but we are moving towards that. And I see it, I'm very grateful to have the opportunity, for example, right now to work for UN Women within the accountability framework team. And we are working closely with a data team. So these are all experts. We have not utilized AI so far, but I see that the organization has included different expertise within the same team. So, for example, I come from the monitoring, evaluation, and program coordinator angle, while my colleagues may be statisticians, data specialists, and so forth. So that is very, very important, especially when you have to analyze both quantitative and qualitative data and make a sense of those for the general public. Previously, I've also worked for the Division of Data Analytics Planning and Monitoring at UNICEF HQ, and I was within a very technical team where there was, for example, a geospatial expert and several niche units focusing on frontier data and frontier data technologies. So it was very important, linking back to the other question, for us to actually communicate what we were doing. So that was the first step for this real-time data initiative I have worked on. So we developed this initiative to bring all the different work streams together. So the data integration, data visualization, the geospatial work stream, and the frontier data work stream. So it was a very well orchestrated initiative that was bringing in different experts. And we were supporting colleagues in identifying what data sets, for instance, were useful for their strategic planning or for their monitoring and evaluation. So it's indeed very, very important to bring in different specialists. I'm a big fan of good practices and lessons learned. So one of my contributions was also managing the knowledge of that specific team and preparing a communication site, which was displaying information on the data products and the various networks, including the geospatial network we were working on, and also the frontier data network we were building together. So, for instance, organizing a series of webinars or having a space where colleagues can actually contribute their experiences and also educate, train others on what their specialization is very, very important. So these are my 2 cents. Thank you. You are muted, Roxana.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Laura, for sharing this. And and I just would like to look back at the audience as well, in case anyone is working in international organizations and would like to share their experience, or in any other sector but are facing similar challenges, or if you have any good practices, I think that could be interesting to learn from you. Or if not, I would also like you to I would like to invite you to share any further reflection. Just looking that we have some 10 more minutes for this webinar, and any reflections that you would like to share, or any questions that you would like to pose to the panelists for discussion. And I see that Jelinka says that she believes everyone is facing similar challenges in this area.
I think we provided lots of thoughts and insight. So hopefully everything was clear.
Yeah, I think it was good food for thought. And yes, yeah, actually, I would like just to ask you, Laura, maybe if just from we have been talking about and the questions that the audience have posed in the chat and all the discussion we have been having in the last half an hour, if you had maybe before we close the webinar, if you have any final reflections that you would like to share, what could be like the key takeaways from you for this session?
Yeah, sure. First of all, thank you, Roxana, and all organizers, and also thank you, Olivier and Eda, and all the participants. This has been a very fascinating discussion. So we have, I hope we have provided a good overview of the various examples of AI applications in monitoring evaluation, as well as in security operations. So we have touched upon like data collection, the importance of data disaggregation, the fact that AI contributes to real-time monitoring. And we have also seen the various applications. For instance, during COVID-19, the importance of utilizing AI in addressing corruption or gender-based violence in Africa. And we have also learned about the utilization of AI and remote sensing for deforestation, the importance of utilizing ChatGPT. And some other more corporate related reflections are regarding the importance of having mixed teams on board. And also utilizing perhaps AI applications for communication or knowledge management. So these are the key points. So bottom line, AI has enhances evaluations by improving the data and information analysis for a better evidence-based decision making. But poses risks, but we have some mitigation measures which we can utilize to address those risks. So we have to remember, as Olivier mentioned, that AI applications are very useful, but they are just tools. So we have to maintain the human oversight all the time. So that's where we as human beings remain strong. So yeah, with these, I would like to thank you all. And over to you, Roxana.
Well, thank you so much, Lara, for the reflections. And I would like to thank again Olivier and Eda for sharing their expertise and their experience from their different fields on how they see this topic. Also, thank you so much again to Jelinke as well, who has been helping us with the chat, with the organization of this dialogue since, so thank you so much. I would like to thank all the audience, including the EVALSDGs Guidance Group member for and who had also supported the publication of this EVALSDG Insight, who gave us some ideas to have this discussion today. So thank you everyone for being here today in the evening time for some of you, or really early in the morning for others. So thanks for that. And we have recorded the session, so we will be sharing the recording with those who had registered for the webinar. And also, we will be posting it in our EVALSDGs website so that you can always access to it and rewatch. And we actually invite you that if you have any further reflections or any ideas or anything that you would like to share, that you can reach out to us, and we will be very happy to continue the conversation. So thank you everyone for joining, and I wish you a good rest of the day or evening or rest of the afternoon. So thank you so much for joining, and you will see the recording soon in our channels and in your emails as well.